I'm going to work through in this section is Try It 1.20, I guess, for this Pre-Calculus OpenStax section 1.2. And what you're given is this mess of a piecewise function and asked to graph it. And the nice thing about this piecewise function is made up of 3 functions that were in your toolkit from the previous section. So in theory, you already know how to graph x cubed. You already know how to graph f of x equals any constant, like -2 or any other number. And you know how to graph f of x equals the square root of x. So all I got to do is all 3 of those things all in one graph. And be careful, you only want to draw this picture when x is less than -1. So -1, x equals -1 right here. So I want to draw the x cubed graph when I'm to the left of this point. The x cubed graph looks something like this. It's kind of that, I don't know, sideways S, I guess. So I want to draw that, but only when I'm to the left of -1. So you might note that if I were to draw that graph everywhere, it'd go through the point -1, -1 right here, which I'm drawing with an open circle, because -1 cubed is -1. And -2 cubed is -8, so there should be some point way down here that it goes through as well. So that'll kind of give me a little bit of a guideline of how to draw this graph. It's just this pretty steep thing that looks something like that. And you can imagine if this were to continue, it'd sort of go like this and then up like this. But it doesn't continue because I only want to draw that when x is less than -1. I then want to draw a graph that has a height of -2 everywhere from x is -1 to x is +4. So here's where the height is -2. And I want this circle to also be open because I'm not including -1 either in this one or in this one. And go all the way out here to 4 and connect these guys with the horizontal line here. And then finally, I want to draw the square root of x. The square root of x is the one that kind of looks like this. It's sort of half of a sideways parabola. And I want to draw that, but not everywhere, only when x is greater than 4. Well, if you were to draw this everywhere, when your x value was 4, your y value would be equal to 2. And that's because the square root of 4 equals 2. So it kind of gives me a guideline of, it helps me know what points I'm going through. So I just want to draw essentially where my mouse is going right here, except only to the right of this point. So it'll look kind of something like that. And this right here is the graph of this crazy looking piecewise function. Note that the domain does not include all numbers. It does not include -1 and it also does not include 4. So it would be everything from -infinity to -1, from -1 to 4, and from 4 to infinity. Question didn't ask me the domain, just stating a fact. And the range would be everything from -infinity all the way up to -1, but not including -1 because I never actually attained this height of -1. Union, everything from +2 up to infinity, but not including that. Maybe I should just write this. Domain, in interval notation, would be everything from -infinity up to -1. Union, everything from -1 up to +4. Union, everything from 4 up to infinity. And the range would be everything from -infinity up to -1. And that comes from this portion. The heights here go as far down as you want and up as high as -1. And then I get the heights of -2 here, but I don't even need to add that because I already had that from this line here. And then union, whatever heights I get out of this thing. Well, the heights I get out of this thing start at +2 and go as high as I want them to go. It takes a while to get really high, but you can get this as high as you want, so this right here would be the range. Question didn't ask you for the domain and the range, but I figured since I'm here, I get that done.